Welcome to another episode of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Thomas. My buddy Carson Wright will be joining me once again in a brief moment. But first, I want to let you guys know, of course, where you can find this show. You can find it on the Buffalo Fanbase Podcast Network, of course, as well as the Thomas Take Sports Podcast everywhere on social media. Anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it's Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. You can find this podcast anywhere. If you're listening to this on your drive in tomorrow morning, I greatly appreciate it. If you're tuning in right now live on all the above places where you can find this podcast, I really appreciate it. You guys are in for a treat of a show. Carson and I are going to discuss everything top to bottom, what went wrong with the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, as well what could go right in the Buffalo Bills' upcoming matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So with that being said, let's fire away this intro and let's talk some Bills football. Well, get your popcorn ready. Carson Wright is on the show once again. You know, kind of like
back.
a little bit of a co-host gig we're rolling here, and it's going pretty well. The folks are enjoying it. You know, I'm enjoying it. It's been good.
I'm back, better than ever. Here we are, ready to talk about these freaking Buffalo Bills, man. My goodness.
The Bills are billsing. If that's
Yes.
a verb, the Bills are the Bills again? Like the old version of the Bills?
You know, you don't want to say it. You don't want it to be true, but my God, did they look like it versus Miami? They couldn't do anything. They really couldn't.
So let's get into that right away here. So I let the folks know. I did a little brief intro, and then I played the intro. The folks at home, they unfortunately spent their hard-earned money in some cases. Some folks spent their hard-earned money to take a flight down to Miami. I know quite a few people that did that. They took a flight down to Miami to watch the Buffalo Bills try to squish the fish once again. And my thought for those people that I talk to on Facebook and Instagram, social media, what have you, man, I feel bad that was the game that they got to see for a rivalry that's been very one-sided, Carson. I honestly, diving into this game, Miami Buffalo, Miami wins at 30-13. I don't know where to start with this show. I guess we could start with the offensive side of the football.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about there, and there's a lot to talk about in the aftermath of this. We'll start with just the game. What did you think of the offensive performance or lack thereof from the Buffalo Bills versus Miami?
Yeah. When it comes down to offense of that game, I mean, obviously it was really non-existent, especially in the first half. I mean, there was nothing going on. But I think the takeaway from it all is the turnovers. You know, we would get close. We would be driving. We would be doing this, that, the other to be getting close to scoring in scoring position, and we squander it by turning the ball over 3 times, turnovers in key moments. And Josh was even saying that fumble by him when he took that, uh, that quarterback run, like the actual
Yeah, the sneak.
designed quarterback run. Yep. He's like, we were driving, we were making moves, we were driving, and what a way to just squander that opportunity where it mattered. But I don't, and I know I was going to ask you this later in the show because I feel like everybody must be dying to talk about it and to hear other people's opinions on it. But
Mhm,
I hope McCole Hardman does what we need him to do,
mhm.
and I know that he's not this, you know, uh, knight in shining armor, but Keon Coleman, besides that one catch that he had, where he like turned his body and it was a good catch, he again did nothing. I mean, really, besides that catch. So offensively, when they shut down James Cook, we have a hard time getting our offense going. And Josh, I'm not really blaming it on Josh. You really can't, but Josh just didn't have his Superman cape on, man. Like, and a lot of it is the receivers not getting open, in my opinion. I mean, a ton of it. I mean, pretty almost over half of it is due to that. But he just didn't have that cape on. He didn't. He wasn't Superman Josh, in my opinion, this game. So it was a tough one to lose. And I feel like this happens every year where we lose some of these games where it's like, how is this happening?
Right.
That are the most frustrating games to lose. We're going against one of the worst teams in the league. Dolphins suck. I mean, they have Tua, dumb, freaking no brains over there, and he just sliced our defense up. I mean, it's just, well, A-Chain really, but him too. I mean, they just played so well against us and kicked our ass. I mean, there's really nowhere else to
Yeah.
explain it.
Well,
So,
a few things going into this game. I got the stats up for just the receivers, but I'll dive into that in just a second. Um, a few things going into this game that had me a little bit worried was the fact that everybody was talking about Mike McDaniel and he's on his way out. They're going to push him out the door after this game, or they could push him out the door, Black Monday, as I refer to it, the day after their season ends. He could get fired. There was really no fear for the Dolphins in this game. They had nothing to lose. They had everything to gain. And if I were to ask really any NFL football fan, not even just a Bills fan, not even a Dolphins fan, just an NFL fan, who's the one team that Miami wants to beat the most? It's
oh yeah,
Buffalo. It's Buffalo for sure. So
100%.
we've owned this rivalry the last 8 years since Josh has gotten here, and this was a game that this team was just extremely flat. This was a game that
Yep.
you mentioned Josh Allen didn't necessarily have his Superman cape on. I think there were moments where he tried to put the cape
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
There was no. We'll say he was trying to be, Batman rather than Bruce Wayne, and there was no Robin. There was no sidekick. Looking at this, I think tells a lot. Khalil Shakir once again leading the team in receptions, but 7 catches for 58 yards is an average of 8.3 yards per catch. Not a bad clip, but not a wide receiver one, type number. Keon Coleman, outside of the one touchdown catch, one of those being his one of 3 catches in this game. The one touchdown was 1 catch out of 3. Dawson Knox, 3 for 37. Dalton Kincaid, he left the game with a hamstring injury, did not return, and is week to week, as Sean McDermott described after the game.
That's not good.
Not good, right? And the offense, the way this offense has kind of devolved, I think should be studied, because previous years, whether it was with Dable or whether it was with Dorsey, an offensive coordinator, and I'm not claiming to be an offensive coordinator by any means, but the successful ones, the guys that eventually worked their way into head coaching positions, even Mike McDaniel actually, were able to kind of find a way, no matter what. If the first way to get a player the ball didn't work, if the second way to get the player the football didn't work, then there's going to be a third and a fourth, and there's going to be so many other ways that offensive coordinator is going to try to get that player the ball. And for all the criticism I have of Keon Coleman from this game, and there's a lot, there is not many adjustments as well, though, with that. So, like, I'm frustrated at the player. I'm frustrated at the coaching as well. They're both not mixing, and when you have that, that leads to a lack of results. Everyone's calling for this kid's head that, he shouldn't be a Buffalo Bill much longer. He's not a wide receiver 1, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but I would also argue that the offensive coordinator that is Joe Brady, who's propped up to be, this next big thing in Buffalo, has really devolved this year and has really struggled this year to find much in this offense outside of James Cook. If Buffalo cannot run the football, which is their best formula of winning games with an MVP quarterback, by the way, they're not going to be successful. Like, this passing game is just not one that is adjusted on the fly. Joe Brady can't really seem to find the right mix of who should be the big target in this offense. Is it Kincaid? Is it Coleman? Is it and no answer is really a good answer right now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was just about to say, as much as I agree, because as much as I might say, oh, Keon, oh, this and that, oh my gosh, it's frustrating. It is his second year, and he should be. He just hasn't proved much to me. But like you said, a big part of that could be Joe Brady. Like
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't
know either. Yeah.
I don't know the answer. But all I do know is not all of it is Keon's fault. So, and I like the kid. I do. I mean, he's a good kid. He's got a good he's a great guy. I mean, nothing about him. I'm not saying that I don't like him. It's just, there's just so much more to be desired when it comes to him. Secondly, Joe Brady, our offense, and now I think you'll probably agree with me, our offense looks so stale. It's like boring to watch. It's like watching paint dry. Every single, it seems, I know it doesn't happen every single drive, but it seems that every single freaking drive, we're throwing a wide receiver screen. It's like, and it doesn't work the first 3 times, and we still keep on doing it. That's the most frustrating thing with Joe Brady, is he does things that continue to not work. And, then on 3rd and 5, or even 3rd and long, if it's like 3rd and 10, he's like doing some stupid play that's going to get him a couple yards, and we're going to have to punt it. It's like, you got Josh Allen. Let's go and get that first down. Let's go score.
Everybody,
I'm done with this
little dink and dunk stuff.
Dunk garbage. It's like, no, that's not winning us games, obviously. Anyways, go ahead.
No, yeah, I agree. And every single thing that, I've seen just these last few weeks, mainly in the losses, the common theme is that Joe Brady and the offensive staff, they succumb to the thought that, oh, well, there's just not a downfield threat on this offense. Try it. Like try it with somebody, whether it's Keon, whether it's Gabe Davis coming back. We'll talk about it again coming up here. Mecole Hardman. Try it.
Mhm.
Just try it with Kincaid. Try to put Kincaid, which they have, and it's been successful, but it's not consistent. It's not
Yeah.
consistent enough to make it a focal point of the offense where everything's so underneath. Everything is so we got to rely on Khalil Shakir getting yards after catch, Ty Johnson, that little dink and dunk stuff, and
Yep.
and Josh Allen is saying, let's go for it. Let's make something happen. I think that there's something to be said for a guy that is weighing other opportunities, and I've been reading a lot about Joe Brady being in the running for the Penn State Nittany Lions head coaching job, which is one of the most coveted jobs, in all of football for obvious reasons. They're Penn State, they're a football powerhouse. But if that's the case, then I think no matter what the result is of this season, which is up for debate, whether they make the playoffs, whether they win the division, whether they go to the Super AFC Championship, whether they go to the Super Bowl, no matter what, I think Joe Brady's gone. I don't see Joe Brady coming back for another season, and I think that's to the benefit of actually both sides.
I think
Because
so too.
if Joe Brady goes and moves on and takes a head coaching job wherever it may be, is he really like? He's not in the running for an NFL head coaching job, but he's in the running for a college head coaching job. You get what I'm saying here? Like the
Hmm.
powers that be in the NFL, this giant kind of network of coaches and owners and GMs and players, they don't believe that Joe Brady's a head coach because he's not really a good NFL offensive coordinator. Like
No,
you have the
no.
reigning NFL MVP. You find a way. You find a way to make it work. And
Mhm.
I know that Keon's got his limitations. He's not a burner. That was never the case at Florida State. Definitely not the case now. A little bit of this falls on Brandon Beane as well, right? Of saying to the media in particular, I loved how he kind of went at Jeremy White and Joe DiBiase on WGR. I loved, the fire that he brought because he just got so sick of hearing those guys, just nitpick every single thing he did. But Brandon Beane really stuck his neck out for guys like Keon Coleman, guys like Josh Palmer. Um, is there kind of room to say Brandon Beane, was he in the wrong? Like in hindsight, and
Well,
maybe he was in the wrong, for siding with this roster and thinking even as recently as last week that they asked him, "Oh, is this a Super Bowl caliber roster?" He said yes. This
mhm.
team that we just watched against the Miami Dolphins, the last performance, he believed prior to this game that this is a Super Bowl caliber roster. I beg to differ. Right? What
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
what do you think of that? Like in terms of how I kind of broke that down.
yeah. I don't see it, man. I see it only because we have Josh Allen. I mean, that
Mhm.
is the only reason we're even in the conversation. Our defense is mid. Our wide receivers are below mid, and
Yeah.
we got some injuries. James Cook is definitely top, one of the top guys I would say at running back in the league. But sometimes he gets shut down, and he got shut down, and we cannot win when he gets shut down with the current team we have. And this might be controversial, and it really might be. But the guy that I think we should have kept over almost every wide receiver on our team is Matt Collins. Matt
Mm.
Collins should have stayed in Buffalo, and I don't know what the hell they were doing getting rid of him and getting Josh Palmer and keeping Curtis Samuel. Why aren't we keeping Matt Collins? Tell me the amount of games where he was a difference maker last year. He
It was a
was.
lot. He led the team in
Uh,
receiving touchdowns.
yes.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that Josh and you know what? He was so Buffalo. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude was walking around in bare feet and it's snowing outside. I mean, he was just Buffalo, man. And I miss Mac on the Bills personally. I miss Mac. But ultimately he was a reliable source. Like he was one of the most reliable sources for Josh. I'm not saying he's top like wide receiver in the league because he's not, but he could be reliable.
Well, he was big. He was a good inside speed threat, like for his size.
And he
Uh,
could go downfield. Like there was a couple
he was a
times
deep
where
threat. Yeah, he was a
yeah.
deep threat. And he was a veteran. You know that kind of gets a little understated. I think at
Mm-hmm.
times we always look at like, oh, how young is this guy? How many years does he have ahead of him? Well, Mac Hollins had a few years behind him, but he also had a few years ahead of him, and he played on a
Yeah.
lot of different teams. Like he was considered a journeyman, and he still is, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like teams
Mm-hmm.
find him to be reliable and find him to be a fit, within their offense. And not only did, they let him go, but I think that was a situation too where like dollars just didn't make sense because of our cap situation
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to New England's. And it's tough because it's like they offered him, let's just say they offered him 7 or 8, and then he hits the open market and it's okay, well, he's going to get 12 from the Patriots. We can't compete with that because of what you mentioned. They made another investment with a guy that is making that number, that is not doing nearly the return that
Yeah.
they gave, that
And
they gave to him.
that's kind of
And
where I was going is like
yeah,
we don't spend the money on Mac when he proved that he can do things for us, but we spend the money, on Curtis Samuel and Palmer who haven't done shit.
see, I
Like
think in terms of like, I agree with you, but I think in terms of like what they thought going, and I mean, Brandon Beane said it in this little, tirade that he had on WGR. He said, you guys are talking about how we didn't go after a receiver. We just signed Josh Palmer. He's 25 years old. He's 6'4", 220. Like all those things, I'd say, yeah, but Josh Palmer's never had like 1,000-yard season consistently. He's not
yeah.
he's not a wide receiver one that they talk about, right? So I think that he really pinned his hopes on some moves being bigger moves than what they actually became, and
Mhm.
they're sitting in a very precarious position because I think this is the first time, dare I say it, in 7, 8, 9 years where the results have been the opposite of what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott thought they would be. And they asked Brandon Beane if it's a Super Bowl roster. They asked Sean McDermott if it's a Super Bowl roster too. And he was a little hesitant. I don't remember the exact phrasing of what he said, but he didn't say yes. He
Yeah.
didn't say no, and he didn't say yes. So that makes me think that he's a little bit pessimistic based on what he watched in Miami, and who wouldn't be after watching that? So
You'd be crazy if you weren't, and that's the
right,
thing. It's just like, when it comes down to being a Super Bowl contender, I'd say we're a contender, but we're this year, and like I hate saying this because I love the Bills. I mean, gosh, we're all Bills fans here. I mean, we are all Bills fans. We don't want to
mm,
hear anything like this. We want a Super Bowl more than probably any fan base ever. Like, it's
mhm.
just like, but the thing of it is I think when we're talking Super Bowl contenders, we're on the freaking edge. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We're
right. We've
we're
we've
not.
taken we've taken steps back. That's
Yes,
that's that's
I
a
think
definite.
last year, we actually were like, I think we were better. And then 2 years ago, like we've literally been in the center of 4 teams for
Mhm.
the past couple years, and now we're like the six, seven, six, six, seven, sixth or seventh team, sixth or seventh
Oh,
team, and looking
yeah,
into the right now, looking into the Colts, looking
right.
into the Rams, looking into the Chiefs, looking into and yeah, we beat the Chiefs. It doesn't matter. When it comes down to the playoffs, they'll be there and
They'll
they'll
be
be
hungry.
yeah, it's not even gonna matter. So, they're looking into all these teams. I would even say the Broncos. I think the
Yeah.
Broncos were because if our offense is this bad, imagine going up against Broncos defense. Yikes.
Yeah.
Or
And
even the
our
Texans
defense, our
defense.
defense would make Denver's offense look pretty average, which is
Yeah.
really bad. Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Right?
Denver's offense is a steaming hot pile of dog shit. Like
Yeah.
that game we were watching kind of simultaneously.
Oh my gosh. We're on the phone and
That
we're like, what is
was
happening here?
holy. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
I punt, turnover, punt, turnover, punt. It like and they're
It
playing
was
the
bad.
Raiders. I mean, wow, that was terrible. But
And
like, oh, and a guy I wish, like Cortland Sutton, man, if we got him, it's just like anybody at the wide receiver spot
well,
would be
well,
nice.
the faith in the guys that he had the faith in prior to the season, obviously that didn't work out.
Mhm.
So you fast forward X amount of weeks, Brandon Bean recognizes that it doesn't work out. And he goes out into the trade market and tries to find the right fit, and he can't get a deal done. And now you're stuck with the guys you have. And
Mhm.
most of them are hurt. And I want to talk about
Yeah.
this specifically. Injuries piling up. So George Gandy and Jim Tora of the RochesterFirst.com posted on Wednesday morning. Bills coach Sean McDermott announced that Dalton Kincaid and Fedarian Mathis will not be practicing today. Fedarian Mathis was a guy that made a play on the D line, kind of brought up from the practice squad, who they are counting on. Like, this is not in a major role, but in a role enough that he fills a spot, right?
Mhm.
So neither Dalton Kincaid or Fedarian Mathis are practicing. So the following players that have been listed as limited on Wednesday morning, this was today: Christian Benford, Joey Bosa, Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis, Khalil Shakir, Shaq Thompson, and Dorian Williams. McDermott also announced, in addition to these names, that AJ Epinesa, Joshua Palmer, Jordan Phillips, and TJ Sanders will be practicing in full on Wednesday, and rookie defensive end Landon Jackson has been placed on IR. So it's just like every single week there's the good of guys that are returning, the bad of guys that are now hurt. I didn't even know that Joey Bosa had a wrist injury. I didn't know that until I started watching the Miami Dolphins game where he's got this giant club,
Yeah.
wrap on his hand. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Like, no one knew about this. Like, no
Yeah.
one, I didn't know about it. I didn't see him get hurt the week prior. So that's huge. In that game that he's wearing the club, the guy that's supposed to be the guy for somebody else that's hurt, Landon Jackson, who's finally active as a third round pick in this year's draft, he tears his PCL, MCL, and is out for probably the rest of the season. Like,
Yeah.
the injuries just are non-stop. And honestly, like, my take on the whole Dolphins game is this in a microcosm. When the Dolphins are making plays on offense and I see Tua throw the ball up to even Malik Washington, I know that in that play, that's probably Tyreek Hill's route, if Tyreek
Mhm.
Hill was out there. Then I
Mhm.
see the guy that's the Buffalo Bill covering him, and it's Cam Lewis or Jordan Hancock or somebody.
Mhm.
I'm just spitballing here, but my point is, I can't get as mad at that because they're injured all over the place. They've got guys that are out that are key pieces of this defense, but the offense has to get it figured out. Like, if this offense doesn't have a passing game, this team's not going to make the playoffs. Like, it's
No,
that serious.
and that's the thing. Like our defense has sucked. Like it's not the first time our defense has been like kind of mid, or
Mhm.
like on the bad side of mid. But like our offense has always been able to score 30 points a game at least, and like they're always going to go down and score points.
Now it's not
And
even 20.
this is the
Yeah.
year, this is the first year like that I can remember that like I don't know what's going to happen each game. It's like
Yeah.
it's a toss up on if there's going to be 30 points scored, if we're going to win. I mean, we're playing the Bucs. Oh my gosh, like we're
Yeah.
playing the Buccaneers. Like,
Let's get into that.
yeah, I mean, first take on that. I hate to say it, Bills Mafia. I don't want to say it. We're losing. We're losing this game. We're not going to beat the Bucs. I'm sorry, but
See, I
we're going
think
to
the
lose by 10. I think we're going to lose by 10. By what the way we played, the only way we're going to win this game is because Baker Mayfield was talking some junk to Josh Allen and they were having a little bicker session. That's about the only, and Josh gets like motivated. I don't know how else we're gonna win this game.
no, this is my
Oof.
take. I understand where you're coming from. I really do. But my take is this: this season has been such an unexplainable cluster. You know what? That Bills at home versus Tampa Bay. I think they're going to win, and it won't make any sense how they win this game because of how they've lost to the Patriots, the Atlanta Falcons, and the hapless Miami Dolphins. That was Miami's Super Bowl. Like that was the biggest win that Miami's ever going to get. That was the biggest win that Atlanta's probably ever going to get. And the team that is now in our way, in our division, is the Patriots. And they're 8-2. I don't know how legit they are as an 8-2 team. Like they could end up making the playoffs and getting bounced out or whatever. I don't fear them as much as I would like a KC or an Indy or whatnot.
Yeah, I agree.
But these divisional matchups have been weird for the Bills this year. The Dolphins and the Patriots. We lost 2 of our 3 losses are divisional losses. That's bad. It's really bad. And
very bad. Yeah.
You're playing against a team that's an NFC team that they got to travel up here. They got to make their way up here. Probably playing some dicey weather that they're not used to. I think the Bills will win, and it won't make any sense to me. Like even saying that, like I understand who's on these teams. Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving is probably going to play. They're saying that he's trending in the right direction. You know, Amika Ibuka, you know, he's a stud. They've been interchanged. I mean, that's a team right there. That's a great example. Tampa Bay has had a revolving door at wide receiver, and even their backups to their backups have been better than the starting wide receivers for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Like that just
we have to have one of, if not the worst wide receiver group in the league. I mean, Tennessee's probably the worst, but like we're one of the worst.
Oh, for sure. And from a statistical standpoint, yes. And you know, back to the Joe Brady thing, from a week to week like adjustment, like why is this still a problem? Like why haven't we seen any progress?
Actually, backwards.
It's regressed. It's gotten worse. Which is really scary. And what are they counting on? Like what is the silver lining? Is Gabe Davis the knight in shining armor that I mean,
they don't even play
holy
him.
smokes, right?
Like,
which brings me to Mecole Hardman, which I'm glad you brought up. I forgot to put that in here. So Mecole Hardman Jr., the Super Bowl savior of the Kansas City Chiefs, was signed as a Buffalo Bill to the Bills practice squad. If I'm Sean McDermott, okay, and you're going to laugh at this, but I mean it. If I'm Sean McDermott, I am going up to the press booth before the game, and I am saying, I know I'm the head coach, so I'm going to call who's active and who's inactive. I'm going to activate Mecole Hardman. I'm going to activate Gabe Davis. And Joe Brady, if you don't get these guys the ball, you're going to be figuring out your next move a lot faster.
Well,
you know, that's what I'm saying. Sean McDermott's saying he's not going to fire Joe Brady all year. Joe Brady is comfortable. He's in his booth. He's in a good spot. If I'm Sean McDermott, I'm saying to him, I need to see something from one of these two guys or both, because to be honest with you, Gabe Davis and Mecole Hardman have a lot of talent in different ways. Get something going. Get anything going.
Just what we have right now isn't working.
Right.
So it's like you gotta like we got two guys. We got Gabe Davis back. You might as well give him a try. And now McCole Hardman, I am trying to be excited about something, and he's what I'm excited about.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
fair.
and it's like here's the thing. I agree with you. If I was Sean McDermott, Joe Brady's like his days are limited right now. You gotta show me something that you can still freaking call
Show me
plays.
something.
You know what I
Show me
mean?
something. Show
And
show me
especially
anything.
now
Even in
that
a losing effort, I don't even care if they lose. Just don't lose like that.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And it's like now that Brian Dable's you know, fired. It's like we could even just if he would, you're not saying I mean who freaking knows? That's a whole nother thing, but
we'll talk about it. We'll
it's
add that
like,
in there.
hey, you know, Brian Dable's there. It's like if Joe Brady's not doing it, Brian Dable did. So, it's just
But Brian, this
I
is
don't
the
know.
thing, and I'm so glad you brought this up because I was more focused on previewing, recapping, and previewing, but this is a big freaking story. Like there's no debating the coincidence that this story is like the Giants fired him. The Giants gave him his walking papers. We talked about it off the record. I was a little shocked. I was a little surprised that he got let go. I felt
They
like
shouldn't
Jackson Dart was going to give him a little bit of life, but I think there were a lot of things that Dable kind of didn't handle the right way. That the Giants owner is kind of old school, and he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna give him a check and get him out of here. Like, just get him out of
have.
the way. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's the right move. We'll find out. They're in the rumor mill for really big name coaches because a lot of big name coaches like John Gruden, Bill Belichick is being rumored. They want a piece of Jackson Dart. They want a piece of Cam Scatterbo with one freaking leg. I would.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would.
right.
I would take that guy with one ear, one hand, one leg. Like that
Yeah.
guy is an animal. So to Dable though, bring Dable back to Buffalo. I'm gonna put a little question mark on this. It's tough because I think that with the past situation with Dable here, they had Stephon Diggs in his prime, by the way. They had
True.
Josh Allen in his young kind of sandlot football prime. I'm not saying Josh Allen isn't that guy anymore, but Josh Allen's evolved to be more than that guy. Like that's my spin on it. Plus, coaching the New York Giants is not easy. Like that's a tough market, brutal fans. He's there for 3 or 4 years. Does he want to just take a job at Fox or CBS for a year and rebuild his name back up? Or, the guy's from Hamburg or went to St. Francis, something like that. He could want to come back home with his family and come back. He could. I mean, because he'd be working with Josh Allen again. Now, I don't know if McDermott and him had the best working relationship, especially towards the end. But I know McDermott is not happy with Joe Brady. Like
No.
you cannot
How could
sugarcoat
you
that.
be right now?
Yeah.
It's just you can't even pretend to be right now. He's not doing it. He's not doing his job right. I mean, yes, we don't have many weapons, but like you said, there's
You
a
gotta
third,
make
fourth,
weapons.
fifth,
Yeah.
sixth way to get them the ball, and we're not doing it. And that's the thing. And even with the play calling for James Cook, sometimes it's like let's just run it down the middle seven times in
The
a row.
runs are
It's
extremely
like
obvious. Yeah.
well, and we were talking about Achan and how Mike McDaniels is so
Yeah.
he is very good at getting Achan space to
And
work.
he's been working with friggin' Tua for
Yeah.
3-4 years. God bless him. He didn't draft the guy. He didn't want if he had his pick, if Mike McDaniel had a gun to his head and somebody said, "Hey man, pick whichever quarterback you want." You think he'd say Tua?
No.
No chance in hell. No chance. No
No.
chance. So that's why like I kind of take a little bit of liberty with Mike McDaniel being kind of an annoying nerd because I'd be toot my own horn as a coach too if I had to work with that guy and I won a game that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
supposed to win. I'd be bragging too. I don't really blame him, to be honest. And dare I say it, if in fact Miami fizzled out, we won this game, it would have actually done more harm to us than good. I think it's actually, in the grand scheme of things, I think, depending on how the end of the season goes, I think it's a great thing that the Bills lost this game, because I think it shines a light on Joe Brady that needs to be shined. And I think it lets people know that Mike McDaniel is maybe not as bad a coach as people said he was. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay too. I mean, right now there's really no reason for Miami to say outright, oh, we're going to fire this guy at the end of the year. They'll let it ride out. If they finish with 6 wins, I think he's going to stay. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think this game partially saved his job. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would literally say that. But
Well, and everybody was watching that game thinking, "Hey, Buffalo's they're going to get it going. They're going to get it." And we just
he never
didn't.
did. No.
And 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 that was weird in a way
Yeah.
because like that's never really a thing. Normally like if we're sucking in the first half, it's like, okay, well, we got half. We're getting it first at half. I mean, we get the freaking half kickoff. We're gonna get it going. We're gonna get it going. We just didn't. And that, like to your point, that shined the light on Brady. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I mean,
And
it's been now a full game and you couldn't get it going. I mean, come on.
they talked about how
It's
we were working, same, we were coworkers at the time, and they were talking about how, they're going to fire Ken Dorsey. They fire him on like a Wednesday, and then they just promote from within Joe Brady, who's the quarterback's coach, and they justify it and all the teams do this. All the teams do this. This isn't
Mhm.
just the Bills, but they justify it by saying, well, he's the current quarterback's coach. What is he telling Josh Allen to do that Josh can't do? Tie his shoe? Like what
Yeah.
what what
It's
what
like
is
what?
what
Yeah.
is there that that's a load of baloney.
What Joe Brady's better than yeah. I mean, it's just
I don't understand it. And then the whole thought that, oh, he's ready for this opportunity. He was the OC at LSU with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. I think my
yeah.
7-year-old nephew could draw up better plays. Like a 5-year-old across the street could draw up
Yeah.
just as good play. Like a 5-year-old could play Madden against Joe Brady and probably beat him with those guys. Like it's
Yeah.
just I don't understand. Like the more I'm diving into the tea leaves of this, I just I don't see it. I don't see where this offense has really progressed outside of James Cook since Joe Brady got here, really. The
Mhm.
passing
Mhm.
game went from here and the run game was here and then it went like that. Like it
Mhm.
just completely flipped. And this is not a knock on James Cook, but this is Josh Allen's team. He's the
Yeah.
reigning MVP. Like, light it up. Like, let's open some things up. Open some things up with James Cook too. That's been a criticism of
Mhm.
mine as well. Why is James Cook used as if he is Derrick Henry? Why?
Yeah.
It makes
Uh,
no sense to me.
They
Throw
hardly
They
pitch
don't
it
throw
or
to him at
do
all.
or throw or they just run it down the middle. Like it's like I don't
With a running
like
back that's 5'10", 190. Like, it just
yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Like
I've always thought that.
I really don't get that as well. That's just a weird like it's like why are you doing that? Like dude, I brought it up before earlier, in the show, but it's just like the wide receiver screens piss me off. It's like I
There's
watch
always
them
there's always a
and I'm
guy
like,
there every time.
what did that do? Like it's
Yeah.
just why aren't we doing drag routes and shit across the middle and like pop a post and a
Here's a
flag like come
here's a
on man
thought.
it's
Here's a thought that I had today, and it made me so angry. I was like gripping my steering wheel on my drive out to East Aurora today. Um, if Keon Coleman is known around the league widely, around the league, and even heading into his rookie draft, as a guy that can't separate, why would you always have him out wide on deep routes?
Yeah, you don't get it.
It just why wouldn't they put him on the inside in the slot? To be honest with you, as a complete size mismatch on a linebacker or a safety, like he's going up against the best of the best every single week, and he's not good enough at this time in his career. He's not good enough to do that. He's just not.
Yeah, you could put him in the slot and put
move him
someone
around
else.
a little bit.
Yeah, move him around, put him somewhere else. And you could, if you want him to go deep, you just do the guy on the end, do an in route or a slant or a post or something that goes in, or even a curl.
He could do like he could do like a seam route over the middle. Like,
and then Keon would go to the outside, so they're crossing. And Keon now is at the outside if they're in zone. It depends on if they're in zone or man. But either way, there has got to be a way to get that kid involved more.
That's my thing. There's always a way. There's always a way.
It's just they're not doing it, and that's the thing. It's just it's frustrating as a fan because you see it and they don't somehow, or they do and they don't care. And it's like, it's just,
or they're too busy interviewing for college head coaching jobs.
Yeah, it's like, dude, man, and that's the thing. I'll see Josh Allen throw a pass to Keon Coleman in a game downfield, and he's on the he's on the edge, he's on the outside, and dude, they're smothering him. He's not even. They're in front of him, the cornerback.
Oh yeah,
it's like he doesn't.
And it gives him limited room on that route to create space. Like he's not one to create space anyway. So you're going to put him on the left or far right or far left side of the field on just a deep route down the sideline.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't.
You're not even
the more I think about it,
to get open.
The more I think about it, it honestly, I mean, I think the criticism for Keon, the more I think about it, is a little bit off base when you break it down like this, and maybe from an effort standpoint. There was a moment in the game where Josh Allen looked his way and it was supposed to go to Keon, and Keon looked pretty lazy, I will say, running the route. But maybe he's frustrated too. Like, hey man, you guys know I ran a 4.65 40.
Yeah.
I'm not fast. I'm big and I'm pretty athletic. But every time I get a target, it's a 50-50 ball. Every time. Like there's everything in this role as the far out, right or far left wide out, which most of the time it's far left. I am literally fighting for this football, not even to just catch it, but fighting for the football because the timing is not quite right. Because Allen's accustomed to a Gabe Davis or a Stephon Diggs who's faster, so it's just the parts are just not all there. Like, and that's why the
more we
game
talk
looks the way
about
it does.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, it's like, is it even Keon's fault? Really? Like,
I don't know. I don't.
Keon is the player he is. Everybody knew that. Like you said, Keon has always been what he is right now, and he's not like you said. He's not a separator. The more we talk about it, it's like they really could be doing something different.
If you threw him a pass over the middle, would he be able to break off like a Cole Beasley or a Shakir? Probably not. But would he be able to stiff arm a DB? Yes. Would he be able to stiff arm a linebacker? Probably. There's and one of the guys that I really compared him to is AJ Green. AJ Green was a little bit quicker, but size-wise, very similar. 50-50 ability, very similar. Mike Evans is the cream of the crop even now. He's obviously hurt, but
at what Keon is.
At what Keon could be, like that's the ceiling. Like a Mike Evans in today's game, healthy. And Mike Evans isn't even the player that even before he got hurt this year, he was doing some decent things, but he's not the player that he was 5 years ago with Tom Brady or even with Jameis Winston. He's not that guy, but he's still pretty good. And it's because they move him around. Like there is no there is no adjustments being made on the side of Joe Brady. And, no one is really talking about this. And like, I got a lot of people that I really appreciate the tune into the show and the podcast network and stuff like that. A lot of the, shows that I, they're all shows I support, but no one's really talking about this. Everyone's just kind of assuming that Keon's just a bust, which I'm not saying that they're wrong. The return on investment is horrible. Like that needs to be stated too. But have they put him in the best position to succeed? I can't say that. I can't. I can't. I just can't. And you also have an ultra talented tight end in Dalton Kincaid, who I think his biggest detriment to his game is that he can't stay healthy. That's the only outside of that, his game in general is legit. I know why that guy was a first round pick. He's big, he's athletic, he can catch everything. I'm curious to see how it works out. Let's get some score predictions before we wrap things up here. Score predictions: Bills versus Bucs.
Oh yeah, I hate to do it, but I just think I just think we're gonna. I won't say we'll lose by 10. I was kind of over exaggerating, but I think we're gonna lose another heartbreak. I do. I hate to say it. I hope I'm wrong. I'm trying to jinx it, to be honest. Here by saying this, I am trying to jinx it. But I think it's going to be 24-21. Like it's going to be a heartbreaker,
a nail biter.
Yeah, or maybe like a 24-27. I'll stick that. I'll stick with that 24-27. I think Bucs actually get it done, unfortunately, but I could be wrong. I hope I am, and I hope I'm jinxing it.
I'm gonna go back to the 30 burger. I'm gonna go 30-27. I think this is going to be a game where Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen go tit for tat. And I think it's going to be a game where someone is going to step up that has not stepped up yet on Buffalo's offense, and it's not going to be Keon. I'm not saying it's not going to be Keon. Like it could be Keon, but I think for whatever reason, with Dalton Kincaid out, I have a hunch that Dawson Knox is itching to prove something. So I'm going to say, like, I like this. I call it the takeover players of the game picks. I'm going to say that Dawson Knox is going to get a touchdown, 5-6 catches, 50 to 60 yards, just a nice tight end day. And Buffalo's defense as well, man, they're just not healthy. And that's why I think this game is going to be close. But the return of Tyler Bass, maybe not. Will it be Bass? Will it be Prater? I think a field goal is going to win this game, 30-27.
Yeah, I like it. And I feel like I'm going to get flamed for not picking the Bills. But
you're just being
in
honest.
My gut. Something in my gut is just telling me that it's just not gonna. Yeah, it's just something in my gut's telling me. But I will say there are going to be takeovers. And I'm going to do them for both teams. I think a takeover for the Bills, I think it's going to be Shakir in this game. I actually think that Shakir is going to go for almost, if not 100 yards receiving.
Oh, that'd be great.
I think he's going to –
I need it for fantasy. I need it.
Yeah. Now, I could be wrong, but I think he'll go for over 80. I'll say that. And maybe a touchdown. And I love the Dawson Knox. I hope that happens because that would be. I always like a good Dawson Knox game. I feel like that just gets me riled up. But, I think that Shakir defensively. I think
Maxwell Harrison.
I think Maxwell Harrison and Cole Bishop are going to strike again. And I think that they're gonna hold Emeka Egbuka more than we think. I was gonna say that everybody's like, people that I've talked to are like, oh man, I'm really nervous. Emeka Egbuka, he's gonna go off. He's gonna destroy us. I think Max, in a way, locks him up. I think he's gonna get a couple catches, obviously, but I think he locks him up better than we expect and. I think he has a good game. I think he might even get another pick. I think Max might even
I
get
th-
another pick.
I think he will. I think it's going to be tit for tat in the sense that Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield are going to try to outdo each other, which could force a turnover for
Yeah,
both sides. I could see both guys throwing a pick, to be honest with you,
yeah.
and making it that much closer of a game. These guys, man, Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. You go back and look at the times these guys have played against each other. Every game has been pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
So
it's going to be
that
a fun one. I hope. I
yeah,
like Baker Mayfield. I like him.
Sunday at
Um,
1:00.
but yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a fun game. But I do think for the Bucs, if Bucky Irving. Now this is only an if.
Oh, he'll put up
If
$150.
yeah, if
Yeah,
Bucky Irving plays, he's going to be
yeah, he's gonna
the
roll.
takeover for the Bucs. But that's only an if. So we'll
That's an
see.
if. All righty, man. I love it. Well, I hope the folks at home loved it too. We got about 900 peeps tuning in live. We didn't get to any comments today. I just kind of wanted to shoot from the hip and just let it roll. I appreciate the people that did comment. I'll be sure to go back and circle back and respond to those. But pretty much in agreement with virtually everything we said anyway. So it was a rough one last week. I'm hoping they can turn the page and put together a solid week 11. Did I put week 10 on here? It's week 11. I messed that up. A solid week 11 against the Bucs, and man, it has been an up and down season. Despite it, 6-3, but we have to win this Sunday at home.
Problem is we
We
have
have
the
to win.
Bucs, we have the Patriots in July. I mean,
We got Houston, we
and
got Pittsburgh.
and the Eagles. I mean, it's not an easy. It's not an easy schedule we got coming up, man. We really
Oh
did. We
God.
could not have lost those games in a worse spot. Like really, truly, I really think that the Falcons and then of definitely the Miami
Is
game
the
is going to
Eagles
bite us in
in
the ass.
Philly or is it at home?
I want to say it's at home, and I think it's week 17. I could be wrong,
Jeez.
but I could be wrong.
Saquon's gonna have a day in that
Yeah,
game.
it's gonna be it'll be interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
I I saw that on our schedule, and I was like, man, that's we got the Eagles, we got and Houston defense is very good.
It is.
Houston's
It is
defense
good.
is very good. Well,
It
and
is
that
good.
was the most frustrating, and I know we're closing it up here, but with the Dolphins, I mean, they made the Dolphins defense look like it was like the best thing ever since sliced bread. It's like, well, what do we do? It's the Dolphins freaking defense. It's the
It's the
worst.
Joe
It's one of
Brady
the
effect,
worst.
man. The Joe Brady
Duh,
effect. He's the
duh.
best.
Yeah, he's so good, man. He gets me so excited. Gosh,
If Penn State wants him, they can have him. That's my motto.
God, they're gonna lose like 7 games next year.
Why they fired their coach is beyond me. That's one that I was like, huh? They paid him $50 million to fire him. Man, what a great day that must have been. Get paid
50
to not work.
million.
Yeah.
Now
Wow.
he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to work for the rest of his life.
And he probably won't.
Yeah. Why?
Crazy. Well, thanks for hopping on again, Carson. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your night here. Go Bills. Can we get a Go Bills for the folks at home?
Yeah, go Bills. I hope my prediction is completely wrong. I hope you blow them out by 20, but we will see. Go Bills as always, and appreciate you having me.
Of course. Go Bills. Take care, bud.
See ya.
See ya. All right, that was Carson Wright. Join me once again. Little co-host tour we're doing these last few weeks. It's been fun. Good guy to chat football with. Good guy to just chill and talk Bills football. Really appreciate him coming on here. We talk football all the time. I thought, why not get you on the pod a couple times here? So really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. It has been a long day for yours truly. So I am bouncing. Last and certainly not least, go Bills.